Hello, everybody. Also, hello, but also, what is with this energy? What is with this old boy can't wait for the stream to crash kind of energy? This is not what we need right now. All right? I'm already stressed out of my mind trying to get my internet to goddamn function for one stream. Anyways, hello everybody. Welcome. It's me, Crow. I'm back. We're doing some more drawing. I was gonna do this yesterday so I could do more fighting games today, but you know what? Since I didn't get a chance to really draw yesterday on stream, we're doing this. I was working on other things though, however, and I'll show that later. That's a stream exclusive for anybody who follows me. You are going to see new stuff for the stream soon. Yeah, actually, you can already see something new for the stream. If you're a subscriber, there's a new emote that I put up as a test, which is um this one. Go, my tacklings. My friend told me to make Agnes Tachyon from Uma Musume into an emote, and I was like, you know what? Why not? And so there you go. There's that. So if you subscribe to me, you can now also summon your own army of Agnes Tachyon onto other people's unsuspecting chats. There you go. There's the wonder of what you get when you subscribe to Crow. Anyways, but there's a bunch of new emotes that are going to be coming soon. I will show later on during the stream. I promise. I promise I'll show you. There you go. There you go, Cuddy Pie. See? There you go. Go, my tachylings. It's funny because I also got Tachyon to 3 stars today in the game. Oh my god. I oh I fear what I have done. I might have cast a hex upon Twitch by using this. By creating this. Oh well. Now people will know that it's from my chat. Now people will know. They'll be like, who's got the Agnes Tachyon standing there emote? It's me. I have it. There's something about the way it just so when I submitted, I didn't want to just use it as a regular emote slot. So I was like, you know what? What if I make it an animated emote? Because I'm like, what if she just kind of like appears? And then they had that thing where it's like it's a slide in emote, and I'm like, that's perfect. That's literally how it is in that scene when Tachyon appears. It's great. I love it. Um, but yeah, there you go. I meant to start streaming like maybe an hour earlier, but I got caught up doing some stuff. So I was like doing and by stuff I meant like I was doing like laundry and shit because I haven't done my laundry. I got a little. I'm not gonna lie, I got a little lazy today, a little bit. I was also uploading several parts of the DK bananda um uh streams that I did. I'm gonna upload the rest tonight, but yeah, they should be up on my VOD channel, and I'm also gonna be downloading more VODs to upload as we go. I'm gonna stop being lazy with VOD uploads because I should just do that in general, but also I should get the VODs so that I can do stuff with them down the line. If I run my life against a Margit and Elden Ring all day, that's cool. I mean, not cool that you've been fighting for your life, but that's cool that you are playing Elden Ring. I sometimes miss that game and sometimes say to myself, maybe I should start a new playthrough of Elden Ring. And then I'm like, no, I shouldn't do that because that's too time consuming. And instead, I should play new games that I haven't played. All right, let's get started on this, shall we? So I think what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to do a color layer, and then I'm going to do that so that this way it helps me work on the grayscale a little more. So now I'll be able to understand the tones better. For anybody curious about this, if you have a colored drawing and you ever want to see how the tones look, just the tones by themselves, you can create a color layer, like on top of your like the layer setting is set to color, and then you just fill it in with black, and then it'll like make everything monochrome, and just give you the tones. It's really cool and it's really useful, especially if you are working with painting If you're working with painting specifically, it helps out a lot with that. But yeah. Hi, Groster. Hi, Rosie. How goes it, bud? I hope you've been doing well. I was saying earlier, Rosie, when I started the stream, but I have new emotes in the works, and I'm gonna show off some of them in a little bit. You're gonna like one in particular. I think chat in general will like one in particular. I think what I'm gonna do with this is I'm going to turn down the pen pressure. That's one of them. That's one of the emotes that I use as a test for animated emotes, because I have 15 slots of animated emotes that I have not used. But I'm gonna commission some emotes be made. For anybody curious, yeah, you can now summon. You can now summon your own army of tachyons, of Agnes tachyons, if you are so inclined. Don't worry, Rosie. Maybe somebody will be kind and gift you a sub like last time. Welcome, Gomichi. Welcome. There you go. Your own army. It's at first I wasn't sure about it because I was like, maybe this is a bit too like niche as an emote, but I kind of love it. It's kind of great. She's just standing there. Oh my god. Thank you for the gifted sub, Cootie Pie. Whoa, epic. Potential tachyon raid emote. Oh, that's true. That is true. I can send people like off to other people's chats and be like, go. Go, my tachyon army. That's good. That's good. I like that. Let's blend that a little bit just so we got a little bit of release the horse. Yeah, exactly. Release the horses. Go. But would you guys like to see a little sneak peek of the emotes that are to come? Okay. So right off the bat, I'm making an unk emote. This is one of the first ones because chat often will make fun of me for talking about things from when I was younger and will call me unk or old. So this, for context, it's gonna be this, and I'm gonna make the hair gray. So yeah, there is going to be an unk emote. Also, this one came to me in a flash of genius. This is whenever I start explaining anything. You know how to use this emote, but this is gonna be one of them. This is gonna be nerd nerd emote. The actually emote. This one I was very excited for. This is going to be one of the static ones. Another one is, this one's gonna be an animated one. Somebody wanted me to make an emote based off that gif of the dude who does the peace sign and then disappears. That's what this one is going to be. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to animate it in a way where it disappears, but I'm gonna try my best. I have to figure out in Clip Studio Paint how to do that properly, but I should be able to do it as a GIF. But yeah, I'm gonna do the peace sign, peace out as one of the animated ones. And then this one is the alcohol emote. So whenever Crow starts to drink on stream, you can do this one. There you go. I now have an alcoholism emote. Perfect. This is another one that's coming. This one I'm doing just because I think it's really funny and because it's also FGC related. So, uh, the hand heart thing. So a lot of people in the FGC know about the famous picture of Justin Wong with the Chun-Li cosplayer where he does the hand heart and she does the thumbs up. So here's the hand heart, and here's the thumbs up. And now you too can go into people's chats and hit them with that. So there you go. Those are the ones I have so far. I have more planned from the suggestions that people have told me. Um, but yeah, these are the emotes that are coming down the line. What do you guys think? The other animated emotes, I am, like I said, I'm going to reach out to artists that specifically do animated emotes, and I'm going to commission them. Because I'm not good at animating, and I would also like to support other artists, and so I'm going to reach out to people who do animated emotes and stuff like that. So yeah, but those are the emotes. What do you guys think? You guys like those? I like this one a lot. I was really happy when I came up with this one. This one's so stupid. Skill issue. I cannot animate either. Yeah. There you go. I hope you will enjoy those when they are done. I should get them done relatively soon. The good thing about emotes is that it does not take that long to really you know, make them, really. Which, why was I so lazy before? Eh. But yeah. And then if I come up with any more shitposty ones, I will of course just put them in. Because the good thing about like animated emotes is that you could just take a static image and animate it in like an interesting way. So there's always definitely room. I'm not good at this. Then I mean I already have an emote that kind of correlates to that, which is this one. The main thing I made was back in 2000 with Sprite recolor of my first OC. But I've been meaning to make new emotes for a while now. Obviously, because I've had like open slots, but like now ever since the big uh sub gifting, and I have even more reason to make new ones. So, yay. And also, I've just been meaning to make more stream assets in general. I kind of like paused on making stream assets for a bit, but now I definitely want to do more. Like, I need to make more alerts for like subscribers and donos and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm bad at animating. It's something I definitely got to improve on soon ish. Maybe this isn't helping too much. Maybe this is better so I can actually see the color. Maybe wash emote for whenever you lose. All right. I mean, yeah, I can make a dead emote as well. Technically, I have an alert for that. You have to go slave to capitalism. Good luck. Have fun. Don't we all? I technically have an alert for that. If you go into like redeems and sound alerts, I do have a alert for that kind of stuff. Where is it? This one. But yeah, when you're kind of like, and I'm sure like a lot of small creators go through this, but like when you're a small creator, you pretty much got to do a lot of things on your own. Luckily, I'm an artist, so like I could do a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to like designing things for my streams. But definitely for people who don't like do art or editing or anything like that, like I definitely can see why they save up to like commission so many people to make assets for them. I think it's cool though, because sometimes I'll be like scrolling around randomly, and then like I'll see a thumbnail or like a something designed or drawn by somebody I know, and I'm like, oh hell yeah. Specifically when I see YouTube thumbnails that are drawn by people I know, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Let's see. Trying to find the right volume levels for background music. That should be fine. So because of my ongoing because of my ongoing ISP issues, there's a chance that I might have to end up becoming a weekend only streamer, which I don't normally mind, but it feels like it feels like literally the only time I can actually stream properly is on weekends, which is unfortunate. Oh yeah, this. There we go. I do hate having to harp on like internet stuff so often. Like I mean, like my ISP issues so often. It just sucks that it's like it's become so like prevalent with everything lately, and it just like God, man, I didn't have this problem before, so it's like it's even more frustrating now that they're like that this is. What what in the actual what in the gosh dang what? Hello? Chat? Am I back? Hello? Hello? Post tachyon if I'm back. I summon the horses. Oh, you guys might want to refresh. Hold on. Let me type it because otherwise it's gonna uh refresh stream delay. Yeah, you're gonna have to refresh because otherwise you're gonna be stuck in delay from when it disconnected. So refresh your streams. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Literally as soon as I was talking about my ISP issues, right there, it just fucking disconnected. I was about to scream if it was going to be like a whole like, oh, it just wasn't gonna work anymore, but it connection stabled itself out. Um, it's not about a don't tempt it. It's like, bro, why am I paying like over $100 for internet for it to not work? It's like I don't even like it's not even a temp fate thing. It's a like, hey, this is actually annoying that your services is not actually working kind of thing, you know? I don't know. It's just frustrating. I hate that this was not a problem before, now all of a sudden it is. You know? Like this is part of my livelihood, man. This is what I do. Well, not really. I mean, I do it for fun, but still, you know? It sucks. I just want my internet to work. I just want the thing I'm paying for to work. But hello everyone who just came into stream. Sorry for the jump scare. No, the stream is still good. The stream is still going. Don't you worry. Welcome, welcome. We are here still working on this Kimberly from Street Fighter 6 in her swimsuit outfit. What is Kimberly's last name? Has that been revealed in the game? I'm pretty sure it has, right? Jackson? Oh yeah, it is Jackson. It's something you don't really think about a lot with Street Fighter characters because it's like, you know, because you're so used to like a lot of them just having like just like Ryu, Ken, Cammy. Then you don't realize that Cammy's full name is Cammy White. I forget what Guile's full name is. Isn't it like Guile Williams or something like that? Or William Guile? Like Guile's his last name, I think. I forget. I should know this. I'm like the fighting game lore guy. I know most fighting game stuff. The funniest one to me in terms of like fighting game character names is JP, who is like fucking what is his name? It's like uh Colonel William Guile. There you go. Yeah, I was right. It was William Guile. Um, Johannes, what is it? Johannes Petrovich is JP's actual name. They just shortened it to JP, which I always thought was funny. They always said at the start of the cartoon, "Oh yeah, Colonel William Guile." It's so funny how that cartoon they try to turn it into GI Joe, even though that's not what Street Fighter is at all. Same thing with like the weird Darkstalkers Saturday morning Darkstalkers cartoon that existed, where I'm like, they like Morgan's a succubus. Like they really are trying to make a children's cartoon based off like these characters. Also, for anyone curious about like, there's the whole thing. I was telling someone the other day that you can tell the cartoon and the OVA were super earlier in Darkstalker's existence. Well, I mean, even nowadays, like I have a video on my YouTube channel talking about Morrigan and her lore, and like the thing that sucks is that part of it, like a majority of what's told in that, well, not majority, but like a good chunk of what I was like, talking about in that is only like hearsay from like comic book, like external comic book and manga, and like only some of it is from the game. Like, you know, that's the thing that sucks about talking about anything with Darkstalkers, and people will get like purists will get like really mad at you and be like, that's not real, that's from the comic, which isn't canon and all that. I'm like, bro, we have to have some kind of canon. We can't just like, like the characters have a story and some of it like overlaps with each other. So like we'll take some of it from here and from there, you know. There's like, who fans really like Dimitri, Morgan, Felicia. No, Donovan. I mean, I like Donovan. But also, Megadeth, you need to remember that Donovan is technically supposed to be kind of like the main focus of Darkstalkers, because his whole thing is like he hunts, like he hunts Darkstalkers, right? So it's like him being the center focus is kind of genius. And then at the end of Darkstalkers 3, he succumbs to the demon. What is it? The demon in a sword or whatever. And then he becomes a monster. And then the little girl that's with him, I forget her name, like is trying to save him as a grown up. You see, that's some lore stuff that I do remember, but again, like the fucking Darkstalkers lore is like so, it's annoying trying to like. I'm saying that if the OVA was made today, even just a few years after that it was made, it would likely not focus on him. If you ask me who the OVA should focus, like if they made a new Darkstalkers OVA, if you ask me who they should focus it on, it should be focused on Talbane. And that's not just my bias towards Talbane, but it's also because Talbane's story is probably the most interesting and like most straightforward out of like all the characters there. Because if you try to tell Morrigan's story, there's just it's just fucking it's ugh. Morgan's story in particular is just like that's not like a main character story. That's a side story that's going on alongside the main character. Because Morgan's whole thing is that she just wants to be a party girl, but then, you know, but then Dimitri's all like, "Oh no, I want to be the leader, the king of Makai," and Morgan's like, "No." But technically, that's the case for Ryu too. Kinda. Ryu is a good protagonist up until Bison is defeated. Then at that point, then it's shifting gears to talking about other characters is the good choice to do, right? And that's what most of the Street Fighters try to focus on. That's why, like, for people who don't know, fun fact: every new Street Fighter past the Alpha series was supposed to have a new main character. Like, it was supposed to focus on a new main character for the overall like Street Fighter series. So for Street Fighter 3, Alex was supposed to be the new main character. That's why I really like Alex, because he's technically the poster boy of Street Fighter 3, and the main story was supposed to follow Alex's journey throughout Street Fighter 3 and fighting Gil and fighting the Illuminati and all that stuff. Then for Street Fighter 5, the main character was supposed to be Rashid. Rashid was supposed to be the new like poster boy for Street Fighter 5. That didn't end up happening. And so then for Street Fighter 6, it's Luke. Luke has had the best success so far, I think. They tried to tell Lilith's story in the manga. One thing that sticks with me is that they made Lilith wear a choker, and I think Lilith with a choker is kind of peak. I do think that Lilith having more design aspects in her character design, like compared to Morgan, is like better overall for her, as opposed to just like essentially being like a carbon copy of Morgan. I feel like they both should have like certain aspects of their outfits that should be fundamentally different. Like, yeah, Lilith having a choker. But yeah, I think for Darkstalkers, I think it, God, there's so much potential that Darkstalkers had, and it really does. I think it upsets me and like so many other people that Capcom never really like returned to it aside from re-releasing the games, you know, and all that stuff. I'm like, dude, you have so much to work with here. It's such an interesting world. The thing that pisses me off is the closest thing we've gotten to Darkstalkers getting actual acknowledgement in a piece of media is the stupid ass Devil May Cry Netflix show. I hate that. I hate that the Netflix Devil May Cry show was taking stuff from fucking Darkstalkers. God, I really do hope Netflix cancels that show. I do not want to see more of that discourse of that anymore on my timeline. I'm so sick of it. I hope I don't have to explain why I don't like that show, because I feel like that was like a whole time on the internet when that show dropped and people were talking about it. Because also Adi Shankar is a hack. So kept me from actually starting the new Castlevania show. I dislike Shankar. Everybody should dislike Shankar. He's not a good person. He's in fact very awful, and also his writing style is very juvenile. And not juvenile in an interesting way. It's juvenile and just like this is a dude who hangs around, collects knives and like nunchucks and thinks he's like cool, but he's just a huge nerd. Feel bad for Castlevania folks because he just put his name on their work. The thing that sucks is that Adi Shankar has like literally nothing to do with Castlevania aside from just producing it. Like the people who making it are like a whole like that they're their own thing. My thing with I have mixed feelings about the Castlevania adaptation because I think aspects of it are really cool, and I think other aspects of it I'm like, why did you make it this way? Like, um, I don't like how not focused on the actual like how should I say this? I don't like how not focused on the actual Belmont a lot of it is, and like how there's this God, I don't know. There's a lot of nuances I think in the way that they could like approach some of the stuff that it just didn't end up happening in the actual show. And I know a lot of people really like the Castlevania shows, and I think that's awesome, right? And introduce new people to Castlevania, but they're going to be disappointed when they go to the games, and the games nothing are nothing like what the show is like. Like not even close. A new Belmont every season. Well, technically they did do that with Nocturne in that that is a new Belmont and it is like a continuation of the first series. But yes, I understand what you mean. They didn't go from Trevor to Simon, they didn't go to Leon and all that stuff. There's technically two Belmonts in Nocturne. Never played the games. I actually love the show. Yeah. But when you actually play the games and all that stuff, and you actually get into the story of the games and like all the crazy places that goes, um, it's like it's night and day. But you'll also understand why some people who like play the games, like who really really love the games, are maybe not the happiest with the way that it was adapted and some characters were portrayed. I think with adaptations, you should always strive to do something different, right? Like 100%. I'm not like one of those purists who's like, this should be exactly like the thing it comes from. But I think when you just completely ignore the source material is when you get shit like Netflix Devil May Cry. And that is for no one. That show is just weird in so many ways. I think a good example of like an adaptation that takes a lot from its source material and isn't like ashamed of it is the Sonic movies, and ironically, because like the Sonic movies, like they're made by people who enjoy the games, right? Like there's so many little references and details and stuff pertaining to like specific Sonic games that they're covering depending on the movie. The last Sonic movie, the third one, like majority of that movie was like a love letter to Dreamcast era Sonic. Something from I think a producer of the upcoming Ari movie saying, "Well, I won't be obedient to the lore of the game." I'm like, when has it ever been that? No, no, no. That's not what he said. He didn't say I'm not being obedient to the lore of the games. He said specifically he does not want to tell the story of the characters from the games. He'd rather tell a story in that world, but not have it revolve around the story that's already been told. Which to me, I think that that's more interesting than just being like, here's Resident Evil 2, here's Resident Evil 3, here's Resident Evil 4. Like, he's essentially saying, hey, I'm going to make a movie that's Resident Evil Outbreak. Like, hey, tell us what people were doing, what the normal people were doing during the Raccoon City incident. What was going on in the Arklay Mountains? Like, what if you tell the story of like a random hiker who got like stranded in the Arklay Mountains and stumbled upon the mansion? Like things like that. Like that's interesting. Tell me that, sprinkle some Easter eggs from the actual thing. Like that's why I like the world of Resident Evil, because it's like there's so much you can do with it, right? But it's just that people pigeonhole themselves into, we're gonna tell the story of Leon, we're gonna tell the story of Chris and Jill and all that stuff, and I don't mind that. But it's like, if you want to make an interesting adaptation of something and not like disappoint fans, then just tell a story within that world. You know what I mean? It's like Detective Pikachu. Why did Detective Pikachu, like, I know there's a lot of people who retroactively go back and be like, "Yeah, was that movie that good?" I'm like, that movie was entertaining. It was fun. It was nice. It was a whole lot of, hey, look at this world with Pokemon and people interacting and all that stuff. And it has nothing to do with any of the main games or any of the anime. And it's like, it's great. It's awesome. It worked, you know. Did they ever give me the live action Gundam movie? It shouldn't just be a retelling of 0079. Just take elements from it and make your own thing. Well, I mean, they've already done that like multiple times. Give me Space Colony and Mobile Suits, a story about a young people struggling in a war and a masked rival. I mean, but that is literally just asking for 0079 like that. But you're asking for that though. The thing is that like in the case of Gundam in particular, that one's a bit of a trickier one to do because so much of like the politics of Gundam, center around what's happening with Amuro, Char, and all that stuff. Like, you know, even when what was I don't want specifically Char, but like I do. That's I think that's it. Like, here's the thing where it depends on the story, right? If you're gonna adapt Gundam right into a live action movie, like Hollywood big live action movie, I don't think that that's one where they can get away with not doing Char or not doing Amuro. And the reason why I say that is because, Resident Evil has already had multiple attempts at trying to make movies based off the games specifically. And they messed up because the people, like want familiar elements, but that not the exact same thing. But that's every Gundam series though. Every Gundam series is that minus, Char is not in all of them, right? But I think the reason why you're gonna see 0079 in particular is because it's the easiest to like consume. You know what I mean? Like it's the easiest one to absorb of like, here's what's happening. Here's the Principality of Zeon. Here's the Earth Federation. They're at war. Here's what's going on and all that stuff. Because if you try to do something like if you try to tell, a story like a different Gundam story, like if you try to do like like G Gundam, or if you try to do Gundam Wing or something like that, that gets a little bit too messy when it comes to trying to tell like a straightforward story, you know? But the thing is that one, but like a lot of the Gundam like series revolves around the UC and revolves around the actions of Char and Namuro. Like I do feel like if they are gonna do UC, they might as well just do that. You know, you can know nothing about Gundam and still watch 0080. Yeah, yeah, I suppose. But here's the thing, though. Like again, if you were, but this is you as a Gundam fan. Now you have to imagine your average non-Gundam fan, like they're not gonna hit them with, you know, all this other stuff. They're gonna hit them with Amuro and Char, right? But also the fundamental difference is that like Gundam is based off an anime and and like in some cases a manga, right? Whereas when I talk about things like Castlevania or Devil May Cry or Resident Evil, it's like those are video games, and video games fundamentally tell stories differently than both the written page and TV shows because it's interactive. And I think that's where a lot of people who make adaptations of games fumble is that they don't know how to adapt the more interactive like gameplay parts, right? Because most games, their stories are paced in between like points of gameplay, right? And so you have time to kind of like sit with what just happened in a story, right? And I think the problem with a lot of TV shows based off games is they don't do that. They don't have those moments where you can just absorb what just happened in a story. They just go from one story beat to the next, and it just becomes like a straight narrative retelling, you know? So I never needed a Metal Gear Solid movie because the games give me more of an experience than any show or movie ever could. And so, yeah, to some degree, yes, 100%. The thing is though, if you do make a Metal Gear Solid movie, that's the thing that's like that. If you were to make a Metal Gear Solid movie, it could be a very short movie. To be honest, it could be a very very short movie if you wanted it to, because of how that game is paced in particular as well. You know, um, they're already 10-hour movies. That's because of gameplay. But if you cut out the gameplay of Metal Gear Solid 1 and you just focus on all the, the cutscenes, Metal Gear Solid 1 is actually just kind of a, like, from scene to scene to scene, like a very straightforward, you know, could be adapted into a movie. That's also because Kojima is in love with movies and that's the way he structures his games, right? This is the thing that's so tricky about like the game adaptation because how did the person who designed this game have the story in mind when they were like designing it? Was it meant to be broken up by gameplay stuff, or did they design it in a way where each story beat just links into itself without needing the gameplay in between? That's the tricky thing, right? For something like a Zelda, which is the one that I think me and so many other people are worried about, for something like a Legend of Zelda, so much of that game is gameplay and not story. So it's like, how do you concretely tell a story where the like make an adaptation like a movie when most of the what you're seeing is gameplay, you know? Like there's a lot of nuance to that topic. It's just that it's not been done in a way that's been, that's why if Kojima ever got to do a movie or prestige TV show, I'd rather him get a show because it would give him more of a time to expand the world, which he always does well. I'm not, you listen, Magadan, I think we're going to have a fundamental disagreement on him expanding the world well because I'm going to be real with you. I think the worst he's ever done it is in Death Stranding. And I know a lot of people really, really like that game, but that is a perfect example of when Kojima is not at his best with designing a world because he really just throws out a bunch of mumbo jumbo and expects you to just understand it. And that's even with me combing over like so much of the files and all that he's trying to say, in that game. The thing that's strong about Kojima is when he has a good team behind him. I think Kojima on his own, he needs somebody to rein him in. That's always been my opinion about like Kojima, and I know not a lot of people would probably agree with me, but Kojima I think is better when he's reined in by people than when he's let loose to just go like all in, right? Because let me tell you, Kojima has had some ideas that are like less than stellar when it comes to certain things, and he does need somebody to tell him, "No, Kojima, don't do that." You've not played those games? Yeah, I think that like listen, Death Stranding is such a divisive like series for sure because some people like either completely love everything about it, no matter how like incomprehensible it is, and some people just bounce off of it so hard about Snatcher, Police Knots, or Metal Gear, like the world they were built in, those games, and the background elements of them. Yeah, of course. And but then also you will then realize that Kojima stole like a lot of the ideas from this from movies he's seen. Tried to make a Neo Kobe pizza once and it was not good. Like if somebody asked me, do I think Kojima would make a good movie if he was given the chance to make a movie? I think if he has a good team. If he has a good team with him, yes. If he's by himself with no one reining him in, absolutely not. That movie would be a fucking mess. Pizza in soup doesn't work terribly well. A fascinating mess, at least. I feel like, and it sucks because I don't want to seem like I'm a hater or anything, and I feel like it comes across as this, but like I think my luster, like the luster, like the rose tinted goggles of me thinking Kojima is like this untouchable genius. I think it died a while ago, and specifically, it was during the era of when he replaced David Hayter with Kiefer Sutherland for Metal Gear Solid 5, but didn't replace any of the other voice actors. That I think is when I realized how much Kojima is more obsessed with the idea of Hollywood than he is with the game industry as a whole, right? I rarely ever hear Kojima like or see him post about playing other games or games that he's interested in. And majority of the time I see him talk about movies and stuff or actors and stuff like that. And it kind of makes me sad because it's just like, I want them to make a Halo TV show mainly focused on the Covenant side of the ODSTs or the ODSTs. I agree that they should just make a TV show about the ODSTs. 100%. That would be cool. And get the same guy who did the music for the game to do the music for the show. Because my God, the ODST soundtrack is amazing. Like I don't really even play Helldivers anymore, but I kind of want to like jump back into Helldivers just because of the ODST crossover that they're doing with the music. But yeah, I think, you know, I still like Kojima's works a lot. I really do. But I think in terms of like the game industry and doing like really interesting things with games and trying to push like, gameplay overall and stuff like that, I do feel like he's kind of not as much at the forefront as he used to be, you know? It's a lot of spectacle. I feel like Kojima nowadays is very focused on spectacle and stuff like that. And, you know, that's good. But I think these days I'm kind of tired of that and I kind of just want to enjoy a game as a game, you know. With spectacle, of course, but like not like necessarily, something that's trying to be overly complex for the sake of it, you know. I'd rather not give Martin O'Donnell money these days. Oh, is he like a problematic? Is he like bad? What did he do? Should I Google this? Oh, he's one of them right wing fuckos. Oh, okay, never mind. Nah, don't bring him back. Yeah, never mind then. I take it back. Damn, it seems like he. Wait, hold on. I'm looking at his credits, and it seems like ever since he went full political, he has not been brought back to work on any games at all. Huh. That's what happens. Fucking loser. Anyways, see what you're saying about Kojima these days, though. But then no one stays at the top of their game forever. And look, I think that Kojima is still like a good guy for wacky ideas, but I think him like as an auteur, I do think that I do think that he's at his strongest, like I said, when somebody is there to kind of like help guide him. Because when he's kind of left to his own devices, he does things that are maybe not the best. But I agree that people that are weird should make more games, though. 100%. And there are plenty of weirdos out there that make fantastic games, fantastic weird games. You just got to look in all the right places. But I do think that the future of video games, and I think I've been saying this for a bit now, the future of video games really does lie in the indie space, because indie games have evolved so much from what they used to be like so long ago, right? A good example of that is you have fucking I haven't played it yet, but it's literally a contender for game of the year. Is Expedition 33? It's a fact that you can make something like that, in this day and age with an indie team, and it being like what people essentially call, a modern classic Final Fantasy. You know, I guess Lost Odyssey would be a better example because people say it's literally like Lost Odyssey. But it's the idea that there are all these game concepts that a lot of big companies are like scared to do nowadays because they feel like people wouldn't like latch onto them, like turn-based combat, for example. But it's like, dude, Metaphor ReFantazio was up for Game of the Year last year, and it's a turn-based RPG. Atlas has never stopped making turn-based RPGs. They've been coming out like crazy. What is it? The Atelier series, Pokemon, fucking Mario RPG, Paper Mario, like money saving techniques and like used to be commonplace, like world maps. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Give me a world map, not an open world. I don't need open world. Like my biggest criticism of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the map, too much open world, less open world. Just give me a world map and let me go from place to place, please. I like exploring Midgar. It's cool. I don't need that for the third game. I don't need to 100% a map with waypoints and shit. Though I will say the funniest part of that game is going to Gungaga because the whole time I was just like, me? Gungaga? Someone show up a game and they say you can walk from here to the horizon, just like I'd rather not. I think that just comes with getting old, to be honest. I think that's just like an old person thing because like I just don't have time to play like massive open world games. Though I think I've gotten into the habit nowadays of like if I'm playing like a big game with an open world, I just beeline it. Like I don't even bother trying to like I just I don't even bother trying to like 100% or do every side quest or anything. I'm just like, I'm gonna do whatever's in my way, and then I'm going to just fucking beeline the story. Like that's part of the reason why I kind of didn't like I haven't finished Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is because like I need to just beeline that game and not worry too much about the side stuff. Though that is the kind of game where if you don't grind at least a little bit, you are going to get like fucked up. So you should do some side stuff, but just like not all of it, right? The other thing is that I feel like if you are going to make the player do all this stuff, like for the map and for completion and all that stuff, we need to bring back actual decent rewards for doing completionist shit. Like, give me my ultimate weapon, give me my super armor, give me my whatever, right? Like Metaphor Fantasio is possibly the easiest game to 100% because that game gives you so much time to do a bunch of stuff. I got to the end of Metaphor Fantasio, and without saying spoilers or anything, there is a point in the game where you are just given like a month, an entire month to just do whatever. And by that point, even if you're just beelining that game, you're at a decent level, right? But the game gives you 3 super dungeons you can go through to kind of grind out to be like, do I want to level up, right? And then at the end of every dungeon, there's a super boss, right? There's 3 super bosses. When you beat those super bosses, you get a reward that's like really strong, and then you get to fight like an even stronger super boss after you beat those 3 super bosses, and you get like a essentially a one-shot kill move, right? And like to me, I'm like, okay, well, this seems pretty worth it for this because it essentially gives me a nuclear bomb, right? And I feel like for other games, it's just like, here's your achievement, and I'm like, thanks. I'm so glad I spent 20 hours doing this. Oh, because Kingdom Hearts music is playing right now. Kingdom Hearts is a good example of that too, where hey, do you want to collect all these materials and do all these things? Hey, guess what you get? You get Ultima Weapon. Or like in Evil Within 2 doing the side quests because none of them take incredibly long, and every time you investigate, you're given some kind of reward for your efforts. Yeah. Give me incentive to do the side stuff. Don't just tell me do a side thing, collect like 100 boar asses, and then that's it. You know, want something tangible. But yeah, with a lot of indie games in particular, I just find them like they're to the point, they're enjoyable, and they're cheap. Like your average indie game is like at $30 at most, and you get like a great experience out of it, right? Hell, sometimes they're even free. You know, something I actually like to do because like a lot of people here who watch my streams know that I'm a big Hololive fan, right? Hololive has their own branch of indie publishing, essentially, where you can submit your game to Hollow Indie, and they will help you get your game onto the Steam like you know you know Steam store. It's where you can monetize it and all that stuff with the approval of Covercore, of course. And a lot of the time, you'll get like these $3, like $10 games that are like these amazing experiences, or even some free games that are just like these fun little experiences that are like game developers first project. And I think that's really cool, you know. And I wish more companies would do stuff like that, you know. They would help out like smaller devs and be like, hey, we're gonna help you with at least publishing, so you don't have to worry about that, you know. Hell, Hades was probably one of my game of the year when it came out, you know, like official release. And that's indie. I mean, Supergiant Games always makes fucking bangers, but like, I don't know. I've just been having more fun with indie games lately, you know. I reminded of Freedom Planet 2 the other day, and I gotta finish that. I also gotta boot up Balatro another one of these days and actually play more Balatro because I've not done a lot in Balatro. The problem with Balatro I have is that if I open that game, I'm not closing it for like 5 hours. It's a sickness. It overtakes you. All right, let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna be curious why the shading looks so muddy. It's because I do an initial like pass on a multiply layer and then I color it afterwards and touch it up. So this is just to get the initial like shades, and then I refine it as I go. So don't worry if you're like, oh Crow, these colors look really muddy right now. Don't worry about it. They won't for too long. You know what you're doing, kinda. I mean, nobody really ever like tells me anything art-wise when I'm drawing, which I respect the fact that my chat is very respectful about the way that I kind of draw stuff. You know, I'm glad that you guys don't really give unsolicited advice unless I ask. You know. Not that I would get mad or anything, but I do think it is a little kind of just like, you know, when people just go in and like tell you, oh, you should do this, you should do that, like, you know, and it's especially if it's like a stranger. I feel like a lot of artists are just like, whoa, hold on, let me do my process first, man. Like, let me cook. This is, you know, this is how I do things. Like, if I'm struggling or if you're somebody I know, then I'll ask, you know. First comment is unsolicited advice. Thankfully, most people don't do that, you know. Again, it's not like I get like mad or anything. I really don't, but it's just like it is one of those things where you're just kind of like, all right, you know, I got to process. Let me do my thing. Seen that in other streams. Kind of was hanging in a friend's stream, and the first thing someone said when they came into the chat was, "Your model's mouth is kind of weird." Not even hello. First thing was a critique. I think the internet really, you know, the internet is very good for showing you people who, you know, maybe don't have the best social skills, right? And um like etiquette in general. And you know, I know for some people like that's a lot of people do struggle with like social cues and stuff like that. And I know that, you know, sometimes people will say stuff that will come off as rude and they don't mean it. But I do think that in a lot of cases, when like, you know, you have comments like that on streams and stuff, like that there are people who legitimately just do that regardless of if they care if it's malicious or not. A lot of people just like to stir the pot. You know what I mean? Like that's how they get their rocks off. They go into a random stream and they're just like, I'm gonna insult this person. You know? And I never understood that, man. Like, if I'm bored, right? I don't think I'm gonna go online and harass someone or I'm gonna go critique this person. I'm like, maybe I should, I don't know, play a game, go outside, do something, like find something entertaining to do, not just like go around like harassing people, make something, draw. I don't know. There's like a billion things you could do. But some people like that's their thing. That's how they get their kicks, and it's just like that's so weird. I don't understand. I'll never understand that, like ever. It feels like such an waste of time. But I feel like that's what those kind of people do is that they just have so much time to waste. So that's what they choose to do. It's so weird. I mean, you find people like that in real life too. Sometimes you'll just be walking down the street, somebody will be like, "Hey, you got like weird eyes." It's just like, "Thanks, dude. I don't even know who you are. I didn't ask." Okay, gotta do little bathroom break, aka stretch break. So I will BRB chat. Hang tight. In the meantime, go my horses. Okay, BRB. Okay, I'm back. Hello, hello, I'm back. What's going on, everyone? Get back to rendering. Oh, God. All right. I'm doing the unhealthy thing for your posture, which is sitting crisscross in my computer chair. The ultimate form. The thing every artist does at some point and then will regret it immediately when their leg starts falling asleep. Man, I should have bought some beer earlier. Ugh, I could really go for some today. A nice crispy cold one. But where are the boys so I can enjoy it with them? Where are the lads? You know, I've never actually, that I think back on it, I've never really actually had too many times where I've been with, I've been out with like my friends and we've gone to like bars and stuff. Usually we just go to like breweries. I feel like it's because like the environment is like less, it's like different than when you go to a bar. I don't know. We've been to some bars, but I feel like my friend group is not the bar hopping type. Mostly because there's like only two of us that really like drink a lot. One drinks moderately, and then the other one just doesn't drink at all. So it's like, yeah, I don't drink, so I wouldn't know anyways. I enjoy drinking. Not like blackout kind of drinking, but like, you know, a nice buzz is always nice. But never been the yeah, like bar hopping type. Usually like cuz like I feel like a lot of bars also like, man, I'm the kind of like I like to sit down at a place and talk to folks. Like I'm not like is it because of the people at the bar? Not necessarily. I think it's because like some bars like especially nowadays have more of like a Like there's loud music playing, and it's like, you know, it's like more of a like big energy vibe. Whereas when I go to a lot of like breweries, they kind of feel like more just like it's some like little warehouse with like two guys behind the thing, and then like maybe a couple of people sitting around having like a beer, right? Um, I mean, unless you probably go to a dive, then a dive is probably like more of just like that, just a couple of people sitting around with a drink. But like then at that point, like going to a dive bar is like a, do I really feel like doing that tonight? You know, kind of feeling. But I think for the most part, like me and my friends, what we do is that we'll just end up going to like a restaurant or some place that just has like a sizable drink menu, and we'll just hang out there for a while. Like I think the most common thing we would do a lot, like years ago, was there was this one Japanese barbecue place we would go to, and they had a whole section that was just like a bar slash like snack. It was almost like an izakaya style like snack, like like the most you'd get at that spot is like a bowl, like a beef bowl or something, and then you just have like a bunch of beers or then whatever drinks they had, and they had like a bunch of Japanese beer on tap, and like we would just do that, you know. It's like what, cheap food, cheap beer, to do that. I think we would go so often that the workers, like eventually, like the wait staff, like recognized this, and they used to just give us like free drinks every once in a while. And I was like, that's awesome. Like, I love when you become when you go someplace so often that you become a regular, and then they just start giving you free stuff because you're chill with them. Like that is my goal. Anytime I find a cool place to like eat at or drink at, is like we gotta start coming here a lot so that they start liking us, and then we can get free things. That's like, as much as an introvert that I am, that is when my people skills kind of activates. Like, I can turn up the charm a little bit. I can. You touch grass when you said dive. I thought you meant diving the backline of dive kicking. No, dive bars. Like, you know, it's for anybody who doesn't know what a dive bar is, it is essentially like when you're driving by and you'll see like just a random small bar like in the middle of like the like when you're driving down the road, and there's just like a bar right there like on the side, and it's kind of like old and dinky looking. Like that's a dive, right? There's like maybe two cars outside of it, you know. It's got like a fading neon sign. Like it's like that's a dive. It reminded me of beef bowl someone made for me last night. I was not happy with it, but I didn't want to be mean. Damn, that's unfortunate. I feel like a beef bowl is kind of hard to mess up, though. How should the beef be prepared in a beef bowl? Well, I mean, I would, if I was doing like a Japanese slash Chinese style beef bowl, well, then when I make the beef, I would cut it thin, put it in a pan, some oil, heat it up. Then I'd put like some soy sauce with like some brown sugar or honey in it. If I have like something spicy, I'd put like maybe, some chili flakes or something and all that stuff, maybe. Should it ever be ground beef? Probably not. I could still make that work, but yeah, no, ground beef is that's not. You can in my head, I know a way to make that work, but I think there are some people who just cannot. Because ground beef is so particular if you're gonna use it for anything. That's why I was not happy. You wanted like steak. You wanted like thin cut like steak in your beef bowl. Not, yeah. No, I agree. You wanted like yakiniku. You wanted yakiniku, and they gave you hamburger rice. Stinky? Yeah, I know. It got stinky when you got here, Jerbear. Everyone, hit Jerbear with the horse. I summon you, my horse army. Attack. Go my tackylings. Yes. Yes. Hit him. Hit him with more horses. No, Gomichi, the other one. The other one. The Tachyon. Not that one. There you go. Go. Go, my tacky links. What the fuck is this? It's the new emote. It was a test. It's a test emote that I made uh because my friend told me, "Hey, why don't you make Agnes Tachyon into an emote?" And so I did because I have 15 animated emote slots. I'm like, "Let me test this one out." And so there you go. I have a horse emote. So whenever I raid into people, I will say horse raid now, and then I will summon the tachyons. For anybody curious what that image is, I think I have it right here. Yeah, it's this. By the way, this is what you're posting. It's this fuck ass. I love this image so much. Like just something about her stance, her face, and just the energy of this goddamn like this image. I love it so goddamn much. Have you made Uma art yet? I have made Uma art. Do you want to see my Uma art? I've made several actually. Low horse be upon thee. Um. So I've drawn Tachyon before. Like I've done a Tachyon sketch. Here's an old sketch I did. It looks like she waddles in. That's why I made it. I have this Tachyon sketch from like a while back. I do want to do like a proper one. I have this Tachyon sketch. I think I have another. I have this one too. I've only sketched Tachyon. I haven't actually done a proper like Tachyon drawing. And then I get it now with people being feral for Tachyon. I listen. I understand the whole like people being like, "Oh my god," like Tachyon and all that stuff. I love Tachyon too, but not in that way. Man, I just think Tachyon's story is like really cool. Like her as a character is really cool, and you actually like figure out her story and why she's the way that she is. One of my favorite dialogue options that you get when you're in Tachyon's run is she talks to you about like, do you know why I pursue my experiments? And one of the dialogue options is so you can discover what lies beyond an Uma's limit. Because she wants to find out, because she knows that she's reached her limit, so she wants to help others go beyond theirs. And I like that. And here's Taiki Shuttle. As far as Uma art is concerned, this is the only ones I've done. I need to do more Uma art. But yeah, Taiki Shuttle is my second favorite Uma. I like Taiki Shuttle a lot. My two faves. Uh Crazy scientist, cowboy girl. America. Anyways, yeah. There's our new emote. This creature, this horrid thing. Also, Jabert, do you wanna see the new emotes that are to come? Would you like to witness upon the emotes that I have planned? Well, here's one. This is the actually emote for whenever I start nerding out about something. Um here's the unk emote for when you guys want to make fun of my age. It's gonna have gray hair, don't worry. Um this is an emote based off that gif of the dude doing the peace sign and then fading away. I'm going to animate this one. This is going to be one of the animated ones. Um, beer. It's pretty self-explanatory. This is for when I drink on stream. And then this is a fun one based off that Justin Wong image of him with the Chun-Li cosplayer. Thumbs up and heart. So you too can deny someone their heart. But yeah, that's what I got so far. I have some others in mind. Don't. I have some others in mind, but we'll get there. Crow, drop more Uma art and my life is yours. I will drop more Uma art soon. As soon as I'm done with swimsuits. Yeah, that's what I'm cooking for subscribers. So hey, if you want any of those emotes or you just want the Tachyon emo, why don't you subscribe? I appreciate it. So about a 10 Mayoshi. You're welcome. You're Croshi. Never forget. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was talking about like how I think it correlates with just like me getting older, but like man, I've never but also I don't think I've ever been one for like when you go out and it's like a loud place. Like you ever go to a restaurant and it's just so fucking loud for some reason that you can't hear like the people across from you? I hate that personally. Like when I go out with folks, I like going to places that are like pretty chill and like we can talk and all that stuff. I had an experience though when I was in Vegas where after the last night of Evo, after grand finals, we were like really hungry. And then we were deciding where to go eat like late at night. Like it was almost midnight. And so we were trying to figure out, okay, where do we go eat? And my friends were like, we should go to like Denny's or IHOP or something. And I'm like, okay, let me find the nearest like IHOP, right? And we ended up going to like this really like desolate, like lonely part of Vegas for the IHOP. And then my friends were like, why this plan? I'm like, this is the only IHOP that was listed. And it was pretty much like there was no one in this fucking IHOP aside from like one other group. And then like the waitress who was like seating us was like, I don't know how to describe her except she had terminally online energy, but also she seemed like she was zooted out of her mind. And she was like this skinny white girl in like this oversized sweater who was giving a lot of like Tumblr energy at the same time. And she would say like I think she was on something. I feel like she was. She was nice, but she was very cringe. Like like she would say things like, "Oh, like we were making jokes, right?" And then she would say things like, "Hi, you're so funny. Don't go bald." Right? She would say stuff like that, which is stuff you would only see people say on like the internet and stuff. And I'm just like, "Oh god, she's like she feels like she feels like a Tumblr kid." It was interesting. My friend was dying of cringe because my I have a friend who doesn't know how to deal with like cringe or like social awkwardness, and it just kills him inside. But the problem is that he's too hospitable, right? So he will still try to like have a conversation going instead of just keeping his mouth shut. And it's just like, oh god, dude, like you do not have to keep playing along. If you feel like you don't want this to continue, just stop. But he's too nice when it comes to social situations. Poor guy. Okay. Let's fix these colors. For the tones. For the shades. Let's do that and that. I'm doing market for 50th time tonight. I'm trying out Grand Blue versus Baldwing. What? I'll have you know I have a perfectly beautiful set of hair. The softest hair you've ever done seen. Didn't you ever bald wing me? I think that's one thing I'll always be grateful for about my family is that like no one in it is bald. Thank God. I mean, no offense to bald people. You have a beautiful scalp. But like, yeah. The idea of the shape of my head stresses me out, you know what I mean? Like I've not seen the shape of my head properly and I don't care to. What if it's lumpy, you know? What if I have an awkwardly shaped head? What do I do with that? What do I do with that information? She got dropped. What? Who's she? I was talking about myself. I feel like Jabert does that thing where he's not really paying attention to the stream. He's just like half paying attention, and then he'll just type something. I should try that? What? What are you talking about? I said, no, Jabert, I was talking about myself. I said I wouldn't want to be bald. Imagine, like, I don't want to think about what if my head is lumpy. I was literally talking about myself. I didn't say she. What? Again, you're not even paying attention. Jabari's trying to gaslight you. No, I'm not, Gomichi. If I was trying to gaslight him, I'd do it. I know how to gaslight Jabari. I've done it before. Mario Kart's got me in a chokehold. All right, buddy. I let him gaslight me because it was funnier that way. You think he let me gaslight you, but I gaslight you into gaslighting yourself. You fool. You know something that's become kind of relevant again lately that is like I think is hilarious is there's this old Adult Swim show called Xavier Renegade Angel, and I've been seeing audio from that get like really popular on TikTok. Um, and people are starting to realize just how fucking unhinged that show was. And I remember because I came across it when I was like I was really young. Um, and I didn't understand it at the time. But then I revisited it years later, and I'm like, God, this thing is like comedy gold. And it's specifically a scene where the main character is talking to himself, like a clone of himself, and he's like, he's like, "You'd like me to be me, wouldn't you? Me." Wish we had that Unk emo right now. I'm not even saying. I'm just literally talking about a fucking show that's like going around again. What do you mean? This is what I mean. You guys are so like obsessed with age. Like the moment I talk about even one tiny thing, you guys are like, "Unk alert, unk unk." Oh, wait, not that one. Can you blame us? You're literally making an emote about it. Okay, that doesn't mean you have to be so mean about it. I mean, this doesn't mean you have to. I'm trying to tell a story of the olden days. It's okay, Crow. Just don't go bald. I'm gonna, I'm gonna ban you. I'm sick of you. Um. Okay. Let's mess with the colors. Okay. I'm gonna do that. Then I'm going to go to tonal correction, tone curve, and boop. Okay. Then, would a gradient map be good for this? Hold on, let me see. New correction layer, gradient map. Let's see what we can do. That one. All right, we're gonna get fucky wucky with colors right now. What is it? Is it color and then? Let's see. I actually don't mind that one that much. Wait, hold on. Let me see. What else do we got here? That one. There's that one. That one's interesting. Oh, this feels like very old school Capcom the way that this one is. Is it, what was it, 6? I kind of like this one the most. Then gonna do a bounce light because ocean and stuff. Then should be soft light. Sorry, the vibes are very chill tonight. There's not been a lot of like excitement with this stream. Which is usually how my drawing streams go, to be honest. So par for the course, I guess. Isn't that why you come to watch? For the chill art? I think that's why people come to watch. I don't know. I've never, it's come to my attention, or not my attention, but I've kind of realized that I don't really watch a lot of other people's art streams as much anymore. So I don't even know if like people just have like things going on constantly in theirs or whatnot. Am I losing out on a market by not having Subway Surfer and Minecraft parkour videos playing in the corner? Like baby sensory stuff? Should that have been my goal the entire time? Should I just start doing that? Then you, the other artist I follow, art stream doesn't even do that often. She does a monthly Patreon request art stream. Oh. You know, I guess I've noticed that there's a lot of artists out there who they use streaming as an outlet to do something besides art, and I feel like that's a good idea because it like helps I think balance you in a way. I think for me it's just like you know I did watch B's art stream the other day. Oh, I mean I'm somebody who doesn't really get a chance to. I'm somebody who doesn't really get a chance to like you know draw for too long in the day unless it's like a day off. So try to take every opportunity. I just always wonder. I'm like, do other people just kind of like sit in silence when they do like drawing streams? Like, is that the norm? I don't know. I always get somewhat self conscious about that. Like, should I just be yapping the whole time, or can I just, shut brain off and draw, and people will be cool with that? They dance around like they silly just who they are. You should do funny man. No. Listen, you want me to do my little gestures dance? You have to pay. Pay the toll to see the fool dance. I was trying to make a rhyme, but I couldn't think of anything. There you go. Gotta find Bofta. Bofta's like a mythical creature who just appears every once in a while and then just drops a lot of money and then vanishes again. I swear. He's got no bars. I never claimed to have them. I'm not a lyrical spiritual individual. But yeah, I figure like art streams are the epitome of just like the chill streams of you're just doing your thing and people are just kind of hanging out, watching, yapping for the most part. Sometimes my brain just kind of goes lock in on art, do not say words anymore, and then I just won't. I'm pretty good at multitasking for the most part though. I came to a realization yesterday, not yesterday, I think it was like 2 days ago. Man, a lot of people got their birthdays in August. It's like a lot of people. It's kind of crazy. Like so many people I know got their like my mom's birthday was literally yesterday. Then like other folk have their birthday late August. What's going on? What's going on with August? Those holiday conceptions. Why do you have to say it like that? Why do you have to say conceptions? They were conceived upon the holiday. That's something that you have to sit with is the fact that like you have to think about the date of when you were born and you have to like trace that back 9 months and be like what was going on around that time and it's like oh it was Christmas or slash New Year's. Oh fuck, my parents were fucking on Christmas. See, my birthday is in December, so for me it's like March, I guess. I don't know. I think I gotta. I gotta let my cat out. You just came in. Why? Why do you already want to be let out, creature? Ugh. Your cat is just a tourist. How dare you say that about my cat? Okay. 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 What do you guys think so far of the drawing? How's it looking? How's it looking, chat? I kind of like the way the colors are now compared to when I was starting. I feel like this is a nice tip for anybody who's like, doing art and they're working on it for like a while back. Every once in a while, just do a zoom out, see how it looks like from like far away, and be like, is this good? You know, try to constantly, look back on it. You specifically love her hair. Kimberly's hair is probably my favorite thing about Kimberly. Honestly, like her hair is just so good. Specifically, I like her hair in her what is it in her costume? Is it costume 3 where she has the afro like the like her hair is like more puffy and she's got the ninja mask on. Like, oh my god, it looks so fucking cool. I think as an artist, if you want to be versatile, you need to learn how to draw all kinds of hair, right? I've always seen artists get like essentially in trouble. Not trouble, but like a lot of artists will often like, you know, be asked like, "Hey, how come you don't draw black characters?" And in some cases, people will be like, "Well, I'm just not good at drawing the hair." And it's just like, "Well, you got to try at least. Like, if you don't try, then you're never gonna get good at it." You know? I think learning all hair types is very useful. Same with skin tone. Super important. Someone who loves drawing. Preach, Mr. Crochet. Somebody who loves drawing small details. I'm a big fan of box braids. Yes. I think too many artists really do put themselves in a box of only drawing one specific thing. And look, 100% I understand if like that's just their thing, right? I also am like a firm believer of like draw the things that you want to draw, right? Don't feel the need to want to draw like everything, right? Um but I think for people who definitely want to um get a career in art or do concept arting or, work in any kind of like industry as an artist, you got to be versatile. You got to know how to draw like a lot of stuff. And you can't be afraid of, oh, I got it wrong, because like it's an opportunity to learn. Don't get me wrong, I know that the general demeanor of the internet does make people like fearful of like drawing certain things, because if they mess it up they feel like they're going to get like bombarded or lambasted. You just got to do your best. And not everyone online who's trying to feel like they're helpful is necessarily helpful. That's something that I've always kind of struggled with, like kind of telling people is like, I understand that in some way you want to be helpful and you want to like inform people or be informative, but it's about the way you do it. You know, if you just attack someone for getting something wrong, like if it wasn't malicious, you're not gonna win them over. You know. But again, that's why I like fighting game, devs because like hell, if you want to see what diverse like, having a diverse cast looks like, there you go. Fucking Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, Tekken, you got everything. Guilty Gears in particular lately has been knocking it out of the park with all different like kinds of character designs. Like holy hell, Nagoriyuki I still think is one of the fucking coolest character designs in any fighting game of recent years. Black Samurai Vampire Man. Like, what a fucking combination. And he's so pretty, too. Okay. Gotta go. Bye, Crow are looking amazing. Thank you so much, Gomichi, and thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Thank you for enjoying my art. I hope you have a good rest of your night or day, depending what time it is for you. I'll just be here chilling, drawing like I usually am. Then when it comes to like lighting and like bounce lighting and stuff like that, I still try to like use hungry clickers techniques as like a motivator. The hungry clicker does go like more in on doing super painterly stuff. That's why I'm like I really gotta get better at whatchamacallit. I really gotta get better at understanding like values and colors and also just being looser with my art. I was kind of talking to some artist folks about this, but it's like I think you know after the Oscar, getting into Tekken and all that stuff, I feel like I've kind of reached this threshold with my art where I'm like I need to push it. I need to push it as far as I possibly can. Um, and I'm not gonna do that if I just keep relying on the same tricks, over and over again. You know, there's a lot of artist friends I have that tell me that like, no, I'm really like that. It's like, oh, your art's like really good right now. Like you don't like and all this stuff. And I'm like, and I do believe them. I appreciate that you know they feel that way about my art. But it's like one of those things where you look at your own stuff and you think to yourself, there are ways I can make this better, and there are things that I'm just like not doing that I should be doing that would help me out a lot. Fundamentals are key, and I feel like I've definitely been slacking with mine. Even if it doesn't seem like that to like most people who will like look at my art and be like, "No, you seem pretty strong." There's a lot that I can be doing more professionally looking and stuff for sure. But I think that's like every artist's whole deal is like, oh, you know, I'm a perfectionist. I want to make sure that all this is perfect, for better or worse. I've also been like kind of thinking up things to do in October because I do want to still do scary games in October and kind of do like more spooky themed streams and whatnot, like I usually do. So I've been kind of just thinking of like, what can I do for spooky time? You work so hard at it because you care. Yeah. Well, more than anything, too, I do want my, I just want to make cool stuff. And I feel like if I keep learning, I can keep making cooler stuff. You know what I mean? Like, my capacity to want to get better is like intertwined with my desire to just keep making really cool looking things, you know? But I think it also just comes with like trying not to be so stiff with my art in general. Just something that's hard to unlearn. I forgot that Comic Head is happening this weekend in Japan, so like a bunch of artists that I follow are like posting their things, and I'm just like, man, I wish I could buy your guys' art books so badly. It upsets me. I want Japanese internet artists' art books so badly, but they only sell them for Comic Head and nowhere else. Or Melon Books, and we don't have a Melon Books over here, and it makes me so sad. Why can't everybody be an art weeb like me? Ah. Anyways, sorry, I had to let that out. Nerd, shut up. I just want the ability to fucking buy. I just want the ability to buy art books. That's it. Like properly. Bought a sticker book in the last year so I could put all the stickers I got from artists into it. That's making a sticker art book. That's actually a really cool idea. I was thinking of what to do with the stickers that I got from Evo, and I've been just thinking about putting them either on like a new. So I'm saving up right now to get the Victrix Loverless, the new one, because it has the extra buttons, and because I got a chance to use it at Evo when I was playing Street Fighter, and I was like, hey, I really like this. I really like the feeling of this. So I was thinking instead of putting like a cover on it, I was just gonna cover it in like FGC stickers. Um, as like a cool like little hey, this is my like little art piece based off of the fighting game community in like a leverless. But a sticker book also seems like a really cool idea. That must be what a lot of people do, honestly. I think one little thing that I want to add is over this. It's going to be an overlay. Be can do that, and then for underneath, a little bit of maybe it should be like more deeper blue. I think as is fine. And then we'll do what we did with the other summer themed ones, and we'll do like a nice sky blue. Gonna hit him with one of these. Then should be this one actually. Easy clouds. The vaguest idea of clouds. I think one thing that I always like feel bad about when it comes to like going to artist alleys and whatnot, and what I want to get from artists is I always want to buy prints, but I don't have a space big enough to really display them properly, you know? And I don't want to do that thing where I just like push pin them or tape them up to a wall because I don't want the print to get ruined or anything like that, right? Like I want to actually like buy frames and display them properly. But man, I just do not have the wall space for it. That's something I have to do definitely when I have my own like big place to myself, which will happen never because you know everything's fucked. Then we're gonna boop, 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 boop. Do that. And maybe a little bigger. We're gonna do one of these. Then we're gonna and just like that, chat, you can make an ocean view super quickly, no problem. The vaguest idea of the ocean. You got waves coming through. Just a quick little Little thing. Yeah, it looks like the ocean, right, chat? Right? That looks like the ocean. That does look like an ocean. Ocean man, take me by the hand, take me to the land. Is it bad that the only time I remember that song is because it makes me think of the SpongeBob movie? Ocean man, take me by the hand. I always find it funny that the SpongeBob movie was supposed to be the end of that series, which is why at the end of it he becomes like the new manager of the Krusty Krab, and then Nickelodeon was all like, "No, we must keep milking the sponge for all that he's worth," and then they continued to milk Sponge Robert. Coming out from Oz media video with ocean meat. What the hell does that even mean? There you go. Beautiful, beautiful sea. I should put more definition on her lips. Was an Arby's ad that said we have ocean meat about fish sandwiches? What the hell? I didn't even know Arby's had fish sandwiches at one point. That's crazy. Does anybody actually? Okay, this isn't a judgment call on anyone, but does anybody actually eat at Arby's? I don't think I've known a single person in my life who actually has gone to eat at Arby's. Like, do people actually eat at Arby's? Is that a for real thing? I eat anything but the beef and cheddar. What is even on an Arby's menu? Hold on. Let's I'm going to pack this real quick because I need to know. I've never once in my life ever craved Arby's. I think I will say out of anything I've had on Arby's menu, the curly fries are probably the only thing I've ever had. All right, Arby's menu with price. So let's see, meals. Is that what we should judge them on? Meals. Uh okay. So they do burgers. Okay, so they do burgers, but there isn't their whole thing is that you're supposed to get like a fucking beef sandwich was a classic beef and cheddar meal. Roast beef, onion roll, cheddar sauce. I'm not gonna lie to you, that does not look appealing at all. Um, I could tell you what I think that the roast beef looks like, but that would be very inappropriate, so I will not say that. Half pound roast beef meal? That's an egregious amount of. There's nothing on there except just meat. What is that? The fries look good, but holy hell! Classic French dip and Swiss meal. Smokehouse brisket meal. That actually looks kind of fire. Not gonna lie. Smoked brisket on a sandwich. It probably doesn't taste that great because it's fast food, but it you know, crispy chicken, buffalo chicken sandwich. That's crazy. Corned beef Reuben meal. Isn't corned beef just like spam? Isn't that what corned beef is? Tune of Ocean Man, Ocean Me, take me by the feet. Greek, yeah, is it gyro or gyro? Gyro? They make gyro? That's crazy. Double big cheesy bacon burger meal. Their burgers look okay. I've just never known anybody to go to Arby's and get like a burger from that. I didn't even know you could. Crispy juicy chicken. What do they got? A buffalo chicken sandwich. Chicken cordon bleu? I don't even know what that is. Limited time. What's on the limited time? White cheddar mac and cheese. Again, I mean they're still around, so obviously Arby's has to be like famous. Like people still gotta eat there, but like I've never heard anybody like ever in my life actively go out of their way to go to Arby's. I'm not gonna lie though, their fries do look fire. Like 100%. Their fries look probably like the best thing they got on their menu. Now, are they better? Here's my question: are they better than the Jack in the Box curly fries, or are they kind of the same? Okay, I have this question. This is like an American thing, right? But like, have you guys noticed that some fast food places are the only places where you can still get like high C fruit punch? Like, I don't think you could buy that in stores anymore. Like, I don't think you could get the powder anymore because I have not seen it in a while. But I think like it exists solely to be sold in fast food places because I've not seen it anywhere else except for fast food places. It used to be super common when I was a little kid, but like nowadays I don't see it anywhere. That or Tang. Is Tang still a thing? Hold on. I'm gonna tangent now. Tang. Drink. It is still a thing. Tang still exists. Wow, that's crazy. My mom used to get a love fruit punch icy. Actually, I don't really get it anymore, but it still hits once in a while. These are these flavors that you just knew as a kid because yeah, Tang was orange product. It wasn't like it never tasted like orange, right? Like it tasted like candy with a hint of orange, with a hint of citrus, essentially, right? Because like I feel like Tang was what you're like depending on your family either got Kool Aid or Tang, you know. Curry pie, Tang is essentially like think of like Kool Aid or like any kind of drink mix where it's like a powder. You put it in some water, you mix it around, and it makes just like whatever, right? Tang was essentially that with like orange. It was like supposed to be like orange juice powder kind of thing, right? But like it did not taste like orange juice. Like if you went and you got like an actual carton of orange juice and you drank Tang, Tang literally tasted like sugar and citric acid. Like no, it was crazy. And like they would market it to kids as like this is a good source of vitamin C or whatever, right? And it's like no, that shit was just pure sugar, like pure sugar. But it was like alongside where Kool-Aid was in terms of like the drink department. And I feel like because I grew up in a Hispanic household, they were more towards Tang than they were towards Kool-Aid, right? Or there was another was High C another powdered one? Or you know, the other thing that we would get would be like powdered horchata. Okay, High C never made a powdered drink. They would just sell it as it was. Um in the juice box. But we used to get like powdered horchata, jamaica, stuff like that. Wait, did Tang Tang started making horchata? That's crazy. I thought they only did orange. That's crazy. Anyways, but the point is that this shit was just packed with nothing but like sugar, so like of course it was like super bad for you. And that's why I had a lot of teeth problems as a kid because I drank super sugary drinks. Hmm. Okay. All right. One final overview of what we're looking at. What do you think, chat? We have Kimberly. Kimberly's swimsuit. Sounds like it would make my stomach ache. It would absolutely make your stomach ache 100%. We witnessed Kimberly Jackson in all her glory. What do we think? I think I actually did a pretty good job with this one. The line art I was a little on it at first when I was doing it, but like no, I don't mind it so much. I do think that for the next one, I'm gonna go back to the way I usually do line art. My more pencil-y looking line art compared to this one. I don't know what it is about me with like line art specifically. I like it when it's like very textured or not super heavy. I think part of that is just because like I never really like fucked with fine liner pens a lot when I was younger. I tried and I just never got really good at them. But yeah, here's Kimberly. Oh my god, I'm glad to finally get through this one, and now I just have to do Chun-Li and um Chun-Li and Aki. Aki technically doesn't count as a swimsuit. She's just kind of like in bandages and like underwear. It's kind of crazy to think about. She came out really nice, Mr. Crow. Thank you, thank you. I've been meaning to draw Kimberly for a while, so you know, this is a, this was another good excuse to actually do it. But I do want to draw her in her other fits as well when I get the chance. I've been drawing a lot of Street Fighter lately. I do feel like I gotta vary it up and not just draw only Street Fighter. You know what I mean? I can't help it though. I just love Street Fighter so much. Also, I was saying for those of you who didn't catch at the beginning of the stream, but I've been slowly uploading the Donkey Kong Bonanza VODs up on my VOD channel. I'll link the VOD channel again after the stream for anybody who didn't get a chance to see it. But like, I essentially made a VOD channel because VODs don't stick around on Twitch, and for if for whatever reason down the line you're like, man, I didn't get a chance to watch Crow's playthrough of this or this stream or whatever, then don't worry about it. I am going to, try to be more consistent with uploading VODs and stuff. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to keep, I'm going to finish uploading those VODs uh, after the stream. And then any future VODs. I was debating on whether I should just, upload all VODs, and I think I should just upload all VODs, honestly. I don't know why I wouldn't. So, yeah, all my drawing streams and all that stuff, I'm also going to be uploading as well, just like as a general archive, because I've been really bad about archiving my stuff and whatnot. I just didn't remember to put what date it was when I streamed certain things. Because from now on, I am gonna try and do it in chronological order, but yeah, that's gonna take a minute, but I'm gonna try and just dump as much as I can onto that channel. Um, I've been debating though, because I know that a lot of other streamers slash VTubers do this. So I have my main VTuber channel, right? Or my main channel where I kind of already done a lot of art and fighting game based videos. And I'm wondering if I should make a separate channel for just specifically video game related stuff, or should I just fuck it and do whatever with my main channel, I don't know. I guess it's up to me because I could just do whatever I want. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I guess it was just a way to differentiate um talking about doing more artistic edited videos and edited gameplay videos and stuff like that. I mean, the rollout wouldn't be that fast because obviously I'm doing it all by myself. So like, but I don't know. I've just been thinking about that because I've seen other people do it, and I've still kind of been debating on that stuff. I mean, you guys, I'm sure you guys just don't give a shit. You guys will just like, if I upload something, you'll be like, yeah, cool, Crow, that's cool, for the most part, right? I bet some people didn't even know that I had a YouTube channel where I would upload regularly. I do. I need to remember to keep doing that. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, chat. I don't know if I am going to play fighting games tonight. I feel like it's getting a little too late, and I don't know if I'm gonna have the mental for fighting games tonight. Might move that to tomorrow, and I'll do that more towards the middle of the day and not towards the evening. Hmm. Just watch all streams on your Twitch if I miss them. Well, that's the thing, Cuddy Pie. Eventually, they will go away. So, um, having having a having it on my YouTube would be good. Wait, hold on. Is the stream still? Wait, guys, do me a favor. If you're hearing what I'm saying right now, type one in chat. Like right now. Type one. Oh, that was a bit of a delay. Oh, that was a bit of a delay. Oh no. Is that me or is that you guys? Oh god, I think it's on like a delay ever since. I think it's been on a slight delay ever since I got like disconnected and reconnected. Oh no. I'm on East Coast, so yeah, but that shouldn't really matter. What delay? I think it was just me. No, I think it's everyone because you guys are responding to what I just said very like late. Not terrible. It's only seconds is pretty bad, dude. Wait, try refreshing. See if that fixes it. Okay, 8 seconds. Okay, no, that's pretty bad. That's a pretty bad delay. Refresh, it's fine. I don't know. It's not normally supposed to be that much. The delay is supposed to be like 2 to 3 seconds at most, not 8. That's that's bad. That's a bad delay. I think I Yeah, I think that might be on my end because of when it disconnected and it got reconnected. I think it added a slight delay. All right, type one. Type one right now. Okay, I think it's better. Jabir, I'm just not gonna believe you. I don't believe you anymore. You're lying to me. You're a little stinky boy. I don't like you. Go, tackylings, get the tired crow. Go, my tackylings, attack! Oh my god, raiding into other people's streams is going to be a fucking nightmare because I can just do that now. Oh no! Oh god, that's amazing. It's okay, Drew Bear. You don't need a screenshot. Part of me has been half tempted to like try out that Battlefield beta. I've never really played a Battlefield game before, but playing a first person shooter kind of craved it a little bit. Not like um I was thinking about like Marvel Rivals recently too, and I'm like, do I really have the brain capacity to want to like go back to that? No, probably not. I think team like hero shooters, I feel like I just can't play them anymore, man. Like I'll play them if people ask me to play them, but like personally, like on my own, I just, I can't do it. That's what I'm playing right now. I was like I said, I was watching um I was watching somebody play Marvel Rivals earlier, and I was like, damn, I do miss this game a little bit, but like I just don't like being on a team with people and then the team not coordinating with you and then the team blaming, like being like, oh, why didn't because I played healer. Like I played my first mistake is that I played support, and because I played support, like you do what you can for people, but then like the people who play DPS are just like, everything I do is right and everyone else is wrong, and then you just get fucked, and it's just like the worst feeling ever. I hate it. I hate it so much. I feel like at least if you play a shooter like Call of Duty or Battlefield, you don't get that as much. You're just like, fuck it. We just go in a big thing. We just like fucking fight. I don't know. That's why I've kind of been like I've been kind of eyeballing like boomer shooters lately, like those the old like Doom like shooters that like a bunch of indie devs always make. Hate to say it, but that's just universal in all team comp games. Yeah, I know. That's why I don't like playing team comp games. Why do you think I play fighting games? Like even with MOBAs, right? Like my friend recently, he's been wanting us to get like into because he really likes Smite, and he started playing Smite 2, and he wants all of us to play Smite 2 together. And so I downloaded Smite 2, and then like as I'm playing through it, I just got like hit with like flashbacks of like all the awful experiences I had playing Smite, and I'm just like I don't know if I could put myself through that again. I don't know if I could do it. I think MOBAs just bring out something in people that is like the worst thing ever. You know, I didn't even play ranked in League when I was playing League, and it still like gave me this feeling of like somebody on this team wants to say a slur really badly, and it's most likely dearly. But we don't have to talk about that. He's taking shots and he's not even here. But you see, with fighting games, the only person I get to blame is me. Okay. Oh. Let me. What was the previous one I did? Hold on. I did Manon before, right? Kind of interesting seeing these two like side by side. Ah, not you, Tachyon. Get out of here. Hmm. You know what something? You know what something I try to focus on more lately. Um, lately I've kind of been trying to emphasize like nose shapes more. Well, I guess I've always have, but like I've never really been a fan of doing like generic, like cutesy anime nose slash like dot noses, right? I've always kind of liked giving like noses proper definition because I feel like it says a lot about like a character's face when you actually like emphasize like um their nose and it like changes the shape of their face, right? So like a good comparison is like Kimberly has more of a rounder face overall, so her nose is like a little bit more rounder, whereas Manon has a lot more sharper features, so her nose is like a lot sharper as well to kind of bring in the length of her face and whatnot. And it's something that I've been kind of trying to like zero in on of like how to find a good balance with it in terms of like face composition, right? Size of the eyes, the nose, mouth, like lips and stuff like that. Also lips. That's another thing that I've been trying to like actually get better at like doing is like defining lips in art. Um cuz like god, in a lot of my old art I used to just avoid even trying to emphasize lips at all, but I find that like it just doesn't look as good for me if you can't like, emphasize lips in a way. Like hell, even with my own character, like I am going to emphasize her lips after like I render this, right? But yeah, no, it just wouldn't hit the same, you know. Did I? Hold on, let me see. Yeah, like same with the Cammy one as well. Man, I don't know what I was like on when I was doing the Cammy one in particular, but like holy hell, like I popped off for this Cammy drawing. This one was me like reaching into like pure all my hungry clicker like inspiration to like try and render this one. That and like the fact that this one was supposed to be just like a doodle that I was doing, and then I was like, what if I just keep working on it? Anyways, but there's still room to improve, chat. That is what matters. We can always get better. Hmm. Okay. Should I call it here? Should I call it here, chat? What say you? Unless you're chowder, then everything will go wrong. What does that mean? What? Hmm. I'm trying to. Let's see. What else can I do right now? I guess I could work on more emotes, but I kind of want more of them to be a surprise. Nah, I guess I'll call it here. No fighting games tonight, only drawing fighting games. But tomorrow I'll do a fighting game stream. So tune in tomorrow. Hopefully my internet is still kind to me tomorrow, and we'll play some Street Fighter. For realsies. For realsies. But yeah, thank you guys so much for stopping by for the art stream. Your art looks insanely amazing. Thank you, Cuddy Pie. I really appreciate that. Um, no, but yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me while I finished rendering this. Thank you for keeping me company as always. I'm glad you guys enjoy the tacky lings. Go ahead, use it to your heart's content. Everywhere else you go on Twitch, tell them where you found them so that they can come here, and if they want that emote, they can subscribe to Corviwing. Free advertisement. Anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by. I hope you have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm not sending you out anywhere tonight. You're just gonna sign off. So, yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you, and I will see you later. Bye bye.